In today's video, we're doing a giveaway for Starter Deck Yugi 2002, so stay tuned. The Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG came out in 2002. Since then, Konami has released over 80 booster core sets, and that's not including the structure or starter decks, not to mention any of the battle packs or expansions. But as of 2023, Konami has released the 25th anniversary set, along with reprints of the first 5 booster sets in the series. I think it's finally time for me to go after a lifelong dream. So my name's Solomon Moto, and my dream is to own every different Yu-Gi-Oh card Konami's ever released. So grab your dual disc and your Millennium items, cause this is Cardhunter Muto. Starter Deck Yugi released in 2002 alongside Starter Deck Kaiba. I have incredible nostalgia for this deck, since this is where I started when it came to the TCG. I was already watching the anime at this point, so when my father brought home the 2 decks for both me and my sister, it blew my mind. It all started with this, the iconic Dark Magician, Yugi's ace monster. There's so many artworks for this card at this point, which I'd be lying if I didn't tell you I haven't collected already, but this one is definitely the classic. Of course, another classic, Maneater Bug. Everyone remembers that Bakura episode. And to think, people would go through the trouble of summoning like their biggest monster, only to lose to a face-down Maneater Bug. Stern Mystic. I don't really know much about this card. I have it, of course, for the collection, but don't really have much to say. Trapmaster, on the other hand, always looked cool. I love his top hat, but of course, he's never really that great of a card. Now here's a card, Wall of Illusion. I always thought that the art in this card was always so cool. It's like, just the way they did the face within the wall itself, it's always kind of like weird. And of course, the 1850 defense, that was like the best defense you could possibly have for like the longest time. And the fact that, it bounces monsters back, that's just like a huge classic card for sure. Then, of course, we have Ancient Elf, Ansatsu, which I think is cool because ninjas are cool, but didn't really put together that a 5-star monster for such weak attack. Probably not the best thing. Baron the Fiend Sword, which, this card and a lot of the other ones were never really featured in the show. It's one of those things to where you got these cards and you'd hope you'd see them, but you just never did. Of course, you'd have, Beaver Warrior and the Celtic Guardian. Those are like classics. There's just like certain cards you must always have in a Yugi starter deck. Claw Reacher, not merely, but Curse of Dragon, of course, you have to have. Things like that. Then you have Doma the Angel of Silence, which is cool, but I don't really recall. Dragon Zombie, Feral Imp, another classic, Gaia the Fierce Knight, Giant Soldier of Stone. Then you had Great White, Magical Ghost. I always thought Magical Ghost looked cool. Let's see, Mammoth Graveyard, classic. Man-Eating Treasure Chest, Mystic Clown. There's a lot of nostalgia for this one. I don't know, I just always remember this card. Then, of course, you have to have the Mystical Elf, Neo the Magical Swordsman. We have Silver Fang, Sorcerer of the Doom, which I really don't recall, but I have it here. Summon Skull. Now this is a cool card. There's no way anyone would have said that one of their favorite cards was not the original Summon Skull. And then the end off the monsters, we have Winged Dragon, Guardian of the Fortress, and Witty Phantom. Now we're on to the spells. We got the Book of Secret Arts, Change of Heart, which, used to be so common, and then when it was gone, like everybody wanted to get one again. And now it's back and you can find it pretty easily. Dark Hole, a classic. D-Spell, D-Inkento, Fissure, another good card. Last Will, which I didn't realize was broken this whole time, which in retrospect makes sense. You can turn any monster into Witch of the Black Forest, yeah. Then we have Monster Reborn. So, funny story about the Monster Reborn. Middle school, I wasn't like the best of kids, and I was really big into Yu-Gi-Oh still, and I used to actually con people occasionally. Nothing like bad, but there were these 2 guys, they were like football players, and they would play these Game Boy Advance games. Eventually, one of them had this Harry Potter game, and he was like, I don't really like this game, like, I don't even really need it. And so I went up to him, and I liked Harry Potter, but I wasn't going to buy a game, so I told him, hey, would you give me the game? And in turn, I'll give you a Yu-Gi-Oh card. And he was like, I don't know, man. It's like, I don't really know anything about it. And I told him, like, look, This is a Monster Reborn card. This is a really good card because when your monster dies, you can bring it back for free. And he was still like, no, like, I just don't see the value in it. But he had a friend with him, and his friend, he like looks at the card and he's like, oh man, that is a really good card. And there's a lot of people who really like Yu-Gi-Oh. No, that's a good deal, man. You should do it. You should do it. And so he convinces him to trade off his Harry Potter Game Boy Advance game for the Monster Reborn. And I'm sure like now like they talk about it, I'm sure they laugh about it and you know about how bad of a deal it was. And I feel bad about it now, but at the time it's still a funny story just to tell. Okay, and just to wrap up the spells, we got Sword of Dark Destruction, Yami, the whole Shadow Realm thing. Then going into traps, Castle Walls, Dragon Capture Jar, another classic, Reinforcements, Reverse Trap, Trap Hole, Two Prong Attack, Ultimate Offering, which is another broken card, because, I didn't think life points really weren't worth anything, so using them to just keep summoning monsters is actually really smart. And of course, the classic Wabaku. Okay, if you made it all the way to the end, I really appreciate you guys. I hope you hit that follow, that like button. It means a lot to me. If you just skipped to the end of the video, alright. At least you clicked on the video, I appreciate it. But I promised that there was going to be a giveaway. I'm going to give away this set right here of starter deck Yugi cards, including the Dark Magician. Now, I will admit, these are damaged cards. A lot of these, even this Dark Magician, has a bent corner. But when you take a look online and looking for a price of pristine cards, you're going to be spending anywhere between $200 to $300 for a whole set. I will admit that it is missing the Wall of Illusion, the Card Destruction, Beaver Warrior, Claw Reacher, and Sorcerer of the Doom. Aside from that, all of it's free. There's no charge to you. All I ask you do is follow this channel, like the video, and drop a comment. What's your favorite nostalgia card? Maybe a deck? Just what got you into Yu-Gi-Oh in general. I really appreciate you guys for sticking by, listening to my stories. It means the world to me. So this is a new channel, Cardhunter Muto, where we'll be collecting all 40,000 cards in the Yu-Gi-Oh TCG. Each video will feature a giveaway just like this one, so I hope you join us. And until then, we're hitting standby, and now it's your move.